that shit.
All right, we are live. It's another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast, connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. Of course, you guys can imagine I am shot out of a freaking cannon today. Inter Scudetto was confirmed on Sunday, although I'm going to have to lean a little bit on the number one Interista, Jerry Mancini. I'm going to have to lean on Jerry for a little bit of energy. Because even though I'm upbeat, obviously I'm going to be celebrating for like 4 months. God, the non-Interisti are going to fucking hate me. Like for the next 4 months, I'm going to be the most hated man on Calcio Twitter because I'm really enjoying it. But I'm a little bit lower energy than I thought. I had my second Pfizer this morning, and like the fatigue is starting to set in. So I'm going to need number one Interista, Jerry Mancini, to carry me. Jerry, I know you keep telling people you're a Laziale, but I know the truth, my friend. I know the truth. Are you celebrating, Jerry?
Since Juventus lost and didn't get not lost yesterday, but didn't get a Scudetto, yeah, I'm celebrating. Fucking 10 in a row, I would have fucking shot myself in the foot, man. Fuck, man. Guys, I'm so sick. I hope Juventus gets a Europa League spot and they shatter for a decade. Can you imagine if they hit Europa League next year and all of a sudden Inter wins 9 straight? Can't imagine what Inter fans will be saying for a decade. Oh my God, I will. I'm okay with it. They don't bother me.
Here's the thing. And correct me if I'm wrong. And Gianni can speak to this. And I'm going to introduce everybody in short order. But we welcome back Gianni, who's the Juventino on the panel. Look, it got to a point, Gianni, where when you win 9 straight Scudetti, you probably don't celebrate the same way for the 9th in a row that you do for the first, second, and third, because it just becomes habit, right? And like I noticed something the last couple of days where a lot of Interisti, and believe it or not, I'm far from the most obnoxious Interista. There are a lot of obnoxious Interisti on Twitter. I'm not breaking any news for any of you guys, but there's obviously a lot of celebrating. There's a lot of banter. There's a lot of trash talk. Interisti saved a lot of receipts from Milanisti who are bragging about the winter Scudetto, and they're retweeting and throwing it in everybody's face. And I see a lot of these, whiny Milanisti, like, oh, why are these guys being so obnoxious and celebrating? I got news for you, bros. If the shoe was on the other foot, and Milan's going to win more Scudetti someday, I understand that. It's reality. I believe it. And believe me, the next time Milan hoists a Scudetto, I would expect the Milanisti on social media to be equally obnoxious to how Interisti are being. I mean, with the victory come the spoils. Now, maybe over the last couple of years, since Juventus was winning everything for a decade, you guys may not have been quite celebrating a Scudetto on Twitter the same way, because for the last few years, winning Scudetti became old hat, and you guys are focusing more on trying to win Champions League and all that. But is that, Gianni, is that an accurate assessment that, you can probably understand Interisti getting a little bit crazy, where for you guys, winning a Scudetto was ordinary after a certain amount of years?
No, yeah, for sure. It's really well put. I think after you win 9 straight, it almost becomes what you expect. It's the bare minimum when you enter into the season. You don't go into the season thinking we're going to compete for the Scudetto. It becomes you're going into the season with the bare minimum being the Scudetto. And I think a lot of fans, like you said, have kind of taken that to their head and got super obnoxious to the point where they kind of wrote it off as a not important trophy, and they started looking towards winning the Champions League. And when you lose focus like that on make one trophy your sole ambition, that's exactly where you have a season like this season where you just go off the rails and nothing really works out. So, yeah, I think last year, too, when we barely won by 1 point, I'm pretty sure it was, we won the Scudetto last year.
Yeah.
So that's almost like lackluster, because I've been expecting to lose for the past 2 years. Really, I've been surprised Juventus has won. So I think, you do celebrate that you win, but at the same time, you have to look back and say, look at our midfield last year. We didn't really deserve to win last year, but we did. So there is a celebrating, but, after you've won 8 in a row and it's your 9th, you're celebrating, but you're also looking back and saying, look at this team, dude, we deserve to win. But that's just me.
I totally get it. And let me introduce, because this is this man's first time joining us, and I'm a big fan of his work. Of course, I know Jerry is as well. Raffa Rispo at Raffa Napoli. Welcome to the show, man. And listen, I think Napoli's going to win another Scudetto someday. A lot of talent on that squad. I would fully expect you guys to celebrate like it's New Year's Eve 1999.
Oh, yeah. If we were to win another Scudetto, it'd be big. I mean, Naples lit up when Koulibaly scored that goal against Juve a couple of years ago, to go to within 1 point, with 4 matches left. Naples went insane. So to imagine if we were to actually have won that, but yeah, man, like it would be an absolutely, I mean, I don't even know. Like you look at Milano and the way Interisti took to the streets, even with the COVID and the, I believe the municipalities or, the officials that, run the city were trying to control it. And they ended up saying, you know what, we can't control this. Just if you're going to do this responsibly. And, I mean, you can't blame the Interisti for, celebrating the way they did. Congratulations to you, Alex, as an
Thank you, sir.
Well deserved this season as well. But I kind of agree with what Gianni said. When you focus on one tournament, it you put all your eggs in one basket. It can backfire, because that's kind of what Napoli did that season. When they were chasing Juventus, they put all their eggs in that one basket. They forgot about the Champions League. They forgot about the Coppa Italia, and they hit 91 points, which is a record achievement for them. And it was actually the most a team would collect, the most points a team would collect without winning the Scudetto in history. So, it never really always turns out the way it's supposed to. So for Juventus having done that, I think was a big mistake. I don't even know what to say about Juventus, to be honest with you. I think that there's a problem, and it's not necessarily on the pitch. I think it's within. It's from within. They didn't do enough to compete, because you at least would have liked to seen like Juve Inter on the penultimate day for the Scudetto. That would have been interesting. But there's a lot of scenarios that could have played out this season, and Inter took advantage of all of them. And congrats to you, and Gianni. Let's hope you hang in there, you and your boys. Huh?
No, yeah, like you said, I should have congratulated Alex too. Like, it's definitely.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Congratulating I have a bunch of intermutuals. I see a lot of Juventini. They were so flabbergasted that Juventus wished, Inter congratulations. But at the end of the day, it's really sport. And like I said before, Inter 100,000% deserved to win it. They had the best attacker in Lukaku all season. They had the best midfield by far. And overall, really the best defenders. So you can't really complain. Inter 100% deserves it. And you guys waited 11 years to win a trophy. So, all the power to you guys. You guys deserve to celebrate this. No hard feelings whatsoever.
No, and I love that attitude, and I'm the same way. Even when it comes to rivalry games, like I can recall the two. Well, actually there were 3, but the 2 Serie A Milan derbies this year. Milan took the first of those over Inter, and I sent a congratulations to friends of mine like Frank Crivello and Richard Carmen from the Serie A sit down who support Milan, Rui Pereira, and people oh, why are you congratulating these guys? And then on the flip side, when Inter in February beat Milan in the return, those guys congratulated me, and I see these other Milan fans oh, how could you never congratulated Interista? You guys don't understand the rivalry. It's dude, at the end of the day, man, it's a game, right? I mean, obviously I can have fun rivalries and I can talk some shit, and we all do it. I don't mind when people talk crap to me. I talk crap to others. It's part of what makes it fun. But when I have close friends and real people that I appreciate, I can be happy for them when their teams win, even if it's a team like Juventus or like Milan. And I got to welcome on the next member of our panel. And boy, I know Jerry is really thrilled with what Vito Doria's Sampdoria did to Roma over the weekend. I hit a huge 2-0 win, and Samp have created some great results. I can remember. Late in Inter are going to see Sampdoria again here soon. But in the first go around, Sampdoria took a victory against Inter, so Samp can be a very, very tough out. Vito, how you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty well. At the moment now it's 11:15 in the morning here in Melbourne, Australia. So yeah, pretty nice day. And from a football perspective, just glad that we did get another win on the weekend, because there hasn't been much to play for. We're stuck in mid-table mediocrity, but it's always nice to get these kind of results. And the performance was very good too, because we dominated the Giallorossi, and we probably would have won by a few more goals, especially if Daniel Fusato in the Lupi goal didn't make a few saves.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, Jerry, do you want to say a few words to Vito? Because between what Man United did to Roma last week, embarrassing them 6-2, and then Vito Sampdoria get the 2-0 win against Roma. I know you being the Laziale, you're really enjoying this run of form that Roma are under.
Yeah, Dzeko sucks, eh? He fucking stinks. 3 offsides. What else? He missed the penalty that he got fucking stone cold there. Like, terrible take. It was a terrible approach. I've never seen a guy like peaked. He's done. He's got to go. And I don't even think Milik would have done any better, because I actually watched some of the game on Friday with the Ligue 1, and he sucks with Marseille as well. He's another fucking dud. Like, the guy is such a pylon. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how Napoli fans feel about him right now, Rafa, but like, the guy, he's bad, man. Like, he's such a lazy player. I don't know. You swap if that deal goes through, Milik goes to Roma. I don't think it's any better. I think they're both shit in their own ways. That's just me. Like, I don't know. Dzeko, he was good. He's peaked. Not the same player he once was. And then with Milik, yeah, he's younger, but I think that he doesn't have that extra potential that can probably succeed at a bigger club. Then again, Roma isn't a big club anymore. They are a small club, and they're second to Lazio. That's just the way I look at it. And Roma has another decade before they become a top 7 club again, because if they miss out on European competition next year, they will become a mid-table team when they have 265 million in debt, and they'll have to figure out other ways to get that money now, and it's going to be costing them their youth. They're going to have to sell a lot of their players to get back and balance those books. Like, can you imagine if Sassuolo gets the 7th spot? That would be amazing for me, because I don't feel bad I hate when I have to hear stuff like, oh, Milan has to finish in top 4 so they can go back to the glory days and start being a contender for Serie A. Like, get out of here. Earn it, and that's it. Whoever finishes in the top 4, let them do what they have to do to build their teams. I don't want to see the same teams all the time finish in top 4. Can you imagine if it's Inter, Napoli, Atalanta, and Lazio finishing top 4?
I'd love to see it. No disrespect to Gianni. No disrespect, I'd love it.
That would be a different look to Serie A, something that we haven't seen in over a decade. And I think that could be a very big change moving forward for Serie A. And maybe these bigger teams having to take a step back all of a sudden allows the league to be more competitive, and it opens up the door for other teams to now kind of be more competitive against each other. I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. But, hey, Vito, impressive performance in Sampdoria. Claudio Ranieri knows how to manage Serie A. Paulo Fonseca, yeah, you get one of those question marks on his face. So he's a dud. He's done after this season. And
I saw, they're going to let him finish out the season, and they'll probably take 4 more L's. I saw that today.
I can't imagine how that derby is going to be. The last time Roma played Lazio, it was a freaking beatdown.
Yeah.
And if they show up like they did yesterday against Sampdoria, it can be really bad between Lazio and Roma. Like, it's going to get really bad if that's the kind of attitude they have. They just don't look interested. But what did you think, Vito? Because you know Sampdoria much better than I do, and they looked really good yesterday, personally.
Oh, we did, and I think it was fitting that Jakub Jankto got the 2nd goal. He's probably been one of our best players this season, if not our best player. So he scored 6 goals, and it was another nice finish from him. So I was really impressed. One of the unsung heroes of our team is Morten Thorsby, very blonde-haired, box-to-box midfielder, Norwegian international. So he set up the opening goal for Adrian Silva. So really happy with that. Looking at the defense, we were missing Maya Yoshida. So the boys, Lorenzo Tonelli and Omar Colley were still able to, keep a clean sheet. And the only time we got beaten was because Roma incorrectly went offside. So, yeah, happy with the performance and the result, and it's the right attitude. So, we played more attacking, which is probably a bit unusual for Ranieri's side. Ranieri likes his teams to defend deeper and work hard, be more effective. But I think this time we showed that we had more cutting edge than the Giallorossi. And we even managed to win with Gabbiadini looking fairly ineffective in attack. Keita Balde only came on as a sub, but he probably should have scored twice. And Fabio Quagliarella didn't even come off the bench. So when you take those things into consideration, it's another impressive result for the Blue Cercati.
Hey, question. Do you feel that your back line is your biggest strength on your team? Because looking at the names right now, my God, Lazio's defense looks so shit compared to Sampdoria's. Like that,
Lazio have been leaking goals lately, man. I mean, you've been getting some good results, but leaking goals.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Sampdoria's back line, and I'd love to hear what you think, Vito, because that's not a bad back line, man. Like, seriously.
Look, it's getting a bit better, but I think more than anything, any good defending on Sampdoria's part is more down to Ranieri's style of coaching and his organization. Some of the players were already there when we had Marco Giampaolo as the coach, and whenever we play with a high defensive line, those players could get exposed, especially if we weren't effective in possession. Those guys on the day are quite good, like Tonelli. He can have a good day, and he blocked the top chance from Borja Mayoral early on, but this season, he's probably had a few bad days. In saying that, though, I reckon our fullbacks have really gone up a level. Tommaso Augello, I think, has been a revelation. I will honestly say that he should be in consideration for the Italian national team. I think he's playing more regularly than Emerson Palmieri at Chelsea. I think he's a much better player than Cristiano Biraghi at Fiorentina. Biraghi is probably suited to the Viola. He didn't show he was good enough to play and maintain a spot at Inter. So I think he's worthy of consideration. The only guy who I reckon is better when he's fit is Leonardo Spinazzola from Roma. Yeah. On the right, Bartosz Berezinski's probably had his best season, and usually he's rather erratic. He can make some very silly defensive errors, but he scored his first goal a few months back for the club, and even defensively, he's improved too. And there have been some games where he's made some rather outstanding blocks. So hard to say what our strength is these days, because I think all around we've got our good points in each department and even our weak spots. So if we speak specifically of the back line, I say it's more down to Ranieri's coaching than the individual qualities of the players.
I got a couple questions for Raffa, as and really there's so many compelling topics here with a lot of our teams. I mean, obviously I'm chilling over here, and Vito is chilling mid-table. But when it comes to Napoli, Juventus, and Lazio, there are so many Champions League spots up for grabs. But first of all, Raffa, for the future of Napoli, I can't help but see all of these links to Luciano Spalletti. Now, I'm going to ask you how seriously you take it. Now, if Spalletti were to end up Napoli's manager next season, yeah, I can certainly give my endorsement. I mean, the guy is a little bit of a Looney Tune, and I still think Napoli can make Champions League this year. But if they don't, certainly I think Spalletti could get them in Champions League next year, because this Napoli team is more talented than both of the Inter teams that Spalletti took to Champions League in 2018 and 2019. So I have no doubt he could do good things there. So are those out of left field? Do you think Luciano Spalletti could be your manager next year?
Well, here's the thing, okay? I personally think that Gattuso has a claim to stake, basically, if he were to stay. You know, I think that he deserves to stay. Getting Napoli from where they were, not only last season when he took over for Ancelotti, but you know, this season as well, down to as low as 9th, and now they're fighting, and they could end up in second place. I think it'd be mad to let him go at this point, and I would actually like for him to stay even if we don't make it to the Champions League. I think Gattuso deserves another season without the COVID schedule, the bunched up COVID schedule, without hopefully as many injuries as they sustained this season. But I think the realistic situation is that if Napoli don't finish top 4, they will get a new manager. And I'm inclined to believe that Spalletti is the top choice because of all of the whispers in the media. Granted, Napoli have been on a silencio stampa for about 2 months now, probably
That's
even
right.
more.
Yeah.
So, there's not a lot coming from Camp Napoli, but sources close to Napoli. In fact, Carlo Avino had tweeted out that he wouldn't bet 10 cents that Gattuso stays next season, regardless of what happens. And that's Carlo Avino, who's a very close source to Napoli. Spalletti, for me, I mean, I'm not a huge fan. When I hear Spalletti, I just feel like, okay, overrated. But the facts are he did take an Inter that was banter era Inter and got them to the Champions League. He took Roma back from when he came back from Russia and had them 4 points within Scudetto in 16-17. He had his thing with Totti, which scares me when it comes to guys like Insigne or
that's a great point.
To me, it's just like, listen, I'm not going to put down what Spalletti has done in his career, but at the same time, I think it's a sideways move. I think that in terms of the locker room, in terms of the togetherness of the club, and how much they love Gattuso and want to play for each other. I mean, if you go back to not this past weekend, but the last weekend when Napoli went to Torino and played against them, and Bakayoko scored the opener. Bakayoko's been having a pretty tough season this year. He started off okay, but he's had a pretty tough season. But that goal that he scored, go back and watch the replay and look at how happy the whole team was for Bakayoko. The entire team jumped on him as if he scored a cup winner. So a guy that is really getting slammed by the media, slammed by the fans, the team is like thrilled for when he gets his goal. And coincidentally enough, that was his second match winner this season. So he's been playing bad, but that was another match winner for him. So it just, to me, it shows the unity of the team. And I think that if you break that up, whether Napoli finishes top 4 or not, I think you're gonna, unless you want to revolutionize, like you're gonna get a new manager, you're probably gonna bring in a new DS. I don't know how secure Giuntoli's job is anymore, and you want to bring in new players to suit Spalletti as well. That's all well and good, but I think that if we make the Champions League, I think the best bet would be just for Gattuso to stay, because if we're going to replace Gattuso, we may as well go the extra step in getting the Allegri, or dare I say Mourinho, because he's available. Not that Mourinho is a coach that he was before, but it's a name, it's a presence. It's going to raise eyebrows. You know what I mean? To me, you don't go Luciano Spalletti to like show awareness, to grow the awareness in Europe. I think Napoli's main goal is to get to the top 4. De Laurentiis had said from the beginning of the season, if Gattuso gets us to the Champions League, he gets another contract. They were supposed to sign the contract. They decided to hold off because they were at 9th place. They went in a silencio stampa, and we don't know anything from there. So who really knows what's going on behind the scenes? But I would say I'm probably at about 60-40 Gattuso stays, and that 40% would probably be Spalletti's job.
Yeah, and certainly Jerry and I have both been pro Gattuso, and I think and Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, but our friend Joe Fischetti from Forza Napoli pod, he's pretty pro Gattuso as well. Like especially if they make Champions League. Like I don't think you're going to find too many Napoli supporters who want to kick this guy to the curb.
No, he Sorry, I thought you were talking. Okay, sorry about that, Rafa.
No.
No worries,
Go ahead,
dude.
Jerry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go.
Well, what I was gonna say is this: Gattuso's got faults. He does. He's got faults. He's a relatively new manager. You know, his sometimes his substitutions, are a little, raise a little eyebrows here and there. Sometimes he waits a little bit too long for substitutions. The tactics I don't want to hear about, because tactics. Look at how many injuries he had over the. Alex, I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong if I say that if Napoli had suffered half the amount of injuries that they did during this season, they'd be neck and neck with Inter for a Scudetto race. It wouldn't even be over yet. I'm not saying Napoli would pip Inter to the Scudetto, but what I'm saying is it would be a lot closer if you ask me. Yes, everybody dealt with COVID. Yes, everybody dealt with injuries. Everybody deals with injuries. Everybody deals with COVID. Everyone. But Napoli got slammed. I mean, when you're missing 7 or 8 starters at the same time, when you have no center back duo in Koulibaly and Manolas, and you have no striker either, and Mertens is out, and Chucky Lozano's out all the same time. I mean, it's inevitable that we're going to drop points. But Gattuso was the fall guy for all that. And sometimes rightfully so, but a lot of times unfairly. And, there are people out there that want to see a fresh, manager come in, someone with more tactical ideas. But sometimes the tactics just don't matter, man, because Napoli are winning games 5-2 against Lazio, 4-1 against Atalanta in the beginning of the season, 6-0 twice against Genoa and Fiorentina. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Napoli, along with Atalanta and Bayern Munich, are like the top goal scorers in top 5, European leagues this season. And we've scored almost 20 more goals than we did last year, and we're probably at this point now we're probably the most improved in points, being that how Milan has dropped so many over last season as well. So I don't think that it's fair that he gets what the crap that he gets. A lot of times managers get the fall for a lot of things, and they don't get enough credit for things that they do right. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you a question. Oh, Jerry, you can go ahead if you want.
I think a big factor to their downfall was being in all competitions for such an extended period of time, and it really hurt their squad, especially when they didn't have a lot of players available to them, and somehow advancing further into Coppa Italia, advancing further in the round in the Europa League, in the league they were still focusing on it. And this kind of reminds me of Lazio of 2 seasons ago when they had their worst season with Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and Luis Alberto,
right?
Coming off a very impressive year where they just came short against Inter for finishing the top 4 2017-18. They follow up the following year, 2018-19, playing in all 3 competitions. And somehow they salvaged their year, winning the Coppa Italia, and they finished, I believe, 8th in the league. And there's similar characteristics here between Napoli and Lazio, where Lazio really dipped off. They didn't have the depth, whereas Napoli does have the depth, but didn't have the depth in a way because of how many injuries they had and how much it really hurt their season. So it sounds weird, but they do have the personnel to call upon off the bench. But how do you have it if it's all, like you said, 8 guys out and playing in all 3 competitions? And Michael Lisi said it perfect to me on a side chat today. Maybe Inter did kind of like tanked your Champions League in a way where they just focused on the league and they thought one priority. It's possible where they managed and they put all their eggs in one basket. Were able to have a healthy roster. They limited their injuries. They were able to focus what they had to on the main goal. I know a lot of people probably won't think that Inter didn't tank it, but there's a 50-50 chance where some teams maybe just say, hey, you know what? We know we're not going to go all the way in Champions League. It's not going to help. And we're going to just focus on where we can win. So it's possible, but you'll never know if that's actually the case. There's always going to be...
Well, no. Here's the thing too, Jay. To touch back on what you said before, Napoli played in the first leg of the Europa League round of 32, where they had to play Granada, right? Now we're thinking, okay, Napoli, Granada, easy. Napoli should take care of it, even though it's a Spanish team. I always said it's going to be tough because a Spanish team you can never underestimate. But this was a tournament we wanted to win, especially after the death of Diego Armando Maradona. We wanted to lift this Europa League trophy because he did it. We wanted to honor him with it. But let me just read to you the starting 11. Meret in goal after Ospina had been the starter all season long. Ospina was the number one starter. Meret in goal. Mario Rui, Maximovic, Ramani, Di Lorenzo. So right there, you're missing Koulibaly and Manolas. You had Elmas and Lobotka in the double pivot. Lobotka has been awful, horrid, treacherous. Elmas has potential, but he hasn't been the greatest either. And then they had to use Fabian on the left with Insigne at the number 10 and Politano on the right with Osimhen as the starting striker. And like you said, Jerry, this was a team that was decimated by injury. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players on the bench were from the Primavera squad.
Wow.
Okay. Filling in spaces. And this is a Primavera B squad, not Primavera Serie A, Primavera B. Those guys were relegated from Primavera A last season. They are playing against second division Primavera teams. And they're coming in they're asked to play in a suit for Europa League. You had Zielinski on the bench, Bakayoko on the bench, and that's it. That's all you had from your starting, your main squad. But how is that the 2-0 loss to Granada? Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, well, it's Granada. You should still be able to beat them. You have your depth players are the best depth. You have the best depth in the league, the best depth in Italy." Yeah, but when your entire starting 11 is decimated and you have to play your depth as the starters, and you have nobody to sub them out for, what do you expect? What do you expect? It wasn't until the second leg where the team started getting more, back. Mertens came back. Lozano was back by then too. And it was just too late. We couldn't do it. But that during that stretch, that's what was on our bench, guys. And everyone was saying, play the kids, play the kids, play the kids. Well, we're fighting for a Champions League spot. You're going to play the kids? And how is that Gattuso's fault? A lot of people are saying, well, his lack of rotation got everybody else injured. No, the fact that the schedule was so compact. Now, I won't deny that there could be an issue with, Napoli physio. Maybe we should take a look at that too. But at the same time, how is all of this Gattuso's fault? You have, I guarantee you have half the team that was injured on that pitch, and those other guys sitting on the bench, we would have had a better shot at Granada, and we would probably still even be in the Europa League. So it's not fair. It's not fair to jump on him. He doesn't get all the blame for me, and I really feel like if he is to leave, if he is to be fired, he got the raw end of the deal.
I wanted to ask you a quick question, and then I'm going to ask Gianni a similar question about Juventus. But, Raffa, when it comes down to it, 4 fixtures remaining, yes or no, is Napoli going to make Champions League?
They're going to, and here's why.
I agree.
I was just talking to my fiance about this on the way home. Her and I are like, I mean, she's becoming like the biggest Napoli fan also. So there you go. So she asked me what the deal is. Like, what's the deal? Why is everybody up in arms about this draw against Cagliari? Well, because if we had won, we'd be in a 4-way tie for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th instead of 2 points behind. Now, Juve Milan play on Sunday. Sunday or Saturday? Is this Sunday?
Sunday.
This weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's dropping points there, right? Mm-hmm. Napoli have to win. Worst case scenario, Napoli lose. Someone has dropped points, so we're still 2 points behind somebody, right? 4th place. Hopefully, if we lose, Lazio don't win. But that's a whole other story. But say we do draw against Spezia. Now this is against we're playing against Spezia, a team we lost to earlier this year, right? So we want redemption against Spezia. I in my heart of hearts don't think we're going to lose. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we win. Juve lose, Milan lose, they drop points, we slide into the 4th spot. they draw, we get even further. We're in third. But not only is this weekend that we have that advantage, but in the penultimate game, Juve play Inter. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care that Inter won the Scudetto. They will be out for blood, because if it's an opportunity to knock Juventus out of the Champions League, they're going to take it. You want to take Ronaldo and your main threat in the Champions League domestically out of the Champions League. So they're going to take that. They 100%. might play the kids for the next 2 weeks, and then
we have Sampdoria coming up this week, and they may take it very easy on Samp.
Sure.
But I think they're going to save some energy for Juve.
Samp's outside chance of qualifying for the Europa Conference League as well, outside. But if Roma tank as much as they've been, they can make it. But then you also have the final match of the week of the season is Atalanta versus Milan. So that's another match where two of these teams are guaranteed to drop points. So literally, Napoli could win 2 and tie 2 in the next 4 and still make it to the Champions League. So Napoli's probability of getting in is very, very high. Let's not forget that Juve and Atalanta play in the Coppa Italia final midweek before the final match of the season. So there's a trophy on the line, It's all gonna unfold. Not to mention Lazio's match that they're gonna end up playing against Torino at some point. We have to watch
May 13th, I think.
It's the weekend after versus Roma. I think it's May 18th. Yeah, it's the weekend after. It's on the Tuesday at 2:30. Okay. It's already been scheduled, and keep going.
I'm just there. You go. So it would be totally Napoli for us not to make the Champions League. It would be totally Napoli for us not to capitalize on a situation that we can gain control. But I just think that the chips fell right into Napoli's lap this season, and I think it would be a disaster if they don't make it to the Champions League in the situation that they're in right now. I do think that. So, my heart says we're going, but I think we're really have a very good chance. I mean, Spezia. We play Spezia, we play Fiorentina, we play Verona, and there's one more game in there that I don't remember who we play against, but it's all basically bottom. Udinese as well. So it's all in our hands, man. We've got it in our even though we drew this week, we dropped points. Atalanta dropping points was very, very big. I tweeted this out. Juve without Ronaldo is a mid-table team. Gianni, you could probably confirm that because Ronaldo saved them this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And I really, really feel like Napoli's quality is there to make it to the next level.
Well, and Gianni, let me bring you in on that note, because obviously style points not necessarily there, but a massive 3 points against Udinese where Ronaldo helped Juventus snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. So those obviously are huge points in this battle for Champions League. So, we talked to Raffa about his confidence in Napoli making Champions League. What about you for Juventus?
Yeah, I can't share the same confidence that Raffa does. I really don't think they're going to make the Champions League. As like clinical as that might sound, I just don't see how it can happen because like you guys said, Ronaldo did save Juve at the end, but you can't really neglect how the first 83 minutes of that match was played. And once again, it was just an embarrassing performance all around. Before the game and during halftime, I said, Juve just watched their 9-time Scudetto fade away to their biggest rivals in Italy. And how do they come out after seeing this? They come out flat. They come out uninspired. They come out with zero passion, with zero drive. They look like a team that's completely and utterly mentally exhausted. And that reflects in Pirlo. If you watch any of his pressers before the games, the day before, he just looks like he doesn't have an answer for anything. He looks like depressed. He looks sad. He doesn't really have any answers. He just kind of says, our goal is to make the Champions League. And for a team like Juventus, I think that kind of sums it up. You know, you come off of winning for 9 Scudetti in a row, and now your goal is to just make the Champions League. So I think everybody feels it. And when you look at the remaining fixtures Juve have left, it's going to be very, very tough. You know, Chiesa's still not fit, and to me, that's probably the MVP for the season. And it really shows the quality, because Juve have an extreme lack of playmakers and an extreme lack of just quality who can put a cross in. Really, the 2 main ball players right now are Bonucci and Quadrado, and those are the only 2 ways the ball's getting into the box to me. And, you know, when you look at the 83 minutes Juve played, just, you know, it just showed again, like, there's no drive, and I really don't see how they can beat Inter. You know, like you guys were saying before, Inter's going to come out. You know, they already ripped Scudetto away from Juve. Now they're going to want to spit in their face too, right? So there's no way Inter's not going to come out full gear, and I really don't know how Juve can have any answers for Inter.
Yeah, and it's a weird one, Gianni, because on the one hand, like from Inter's point of view, I mean, obviously for Conte, there's certainly a grudge there, and I'm sure the players for Pride would want to beat Juventus. At the same time, I still think that it's hard to fake desperation, but then on the flip side, like you said, you know, Juventus should have been playing with passion, and they didn't get anything until the 83rd minute. So I don't know what Juventus is going to show up. I don't know what their mentality is going to be like. I thought Raffa hit the nail on the head. I mean, Inter, I think, are going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at Juventus, whereas for some of the other games that are left, it wouldn't surprise me if Conte rests some guys and goes deep on the bench. But for that matchup, I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting him to throw out his best 11 or something close to it. But at the same time, it's like Inter will play for pride. They'll play without fear, but it's like they won't have the same desperation. So if Juve can show up in that match and actually play like a team fighting for their Champions League lives, you know, they should have, you know, some sort of an aggression or mental edge over Inter. I just don't know where that version of Juventus is, because I'm not seeing it right now.
The number one thing for me, the issue is lack of mentality. Every single match that they've struggled, I think there's just been this lack of mentality. In the past years, you know, Juve may have been playing not very well, but at the end of it, they just have this desire to win. And I just don't think Pirlo's translating that. And there's just some players who, honestly, I just don't think care. You know, they're there for their salary and they don't really care. Like, not to call out any players, but when I look at Aaron Ramsey and Rabiot, who are making a combined 14 million euros, I don't see this Juventus spirit that has existed in players in the past who maybe have not been to the same, like, I don't know, reputation. Not that they're like these amazing players, but they do have big enough names in Europe. But even smaller players to a degree have had this fighting spirit more. And, you know, I just really don't see how. You know, Sassuolo's coming up too, and they've been playing really well. Do you really think Sassuolo is going to not take a chance at taking down Juve? Everyone, like, all the dogs are after Juve right now. And the way Sassuolo's playing, they, you know, took some points off Atalanta, who in my opinion has probably been the strongest team bar Inter this season, who Juve also have to play, and think about that game too. So,
well, see, and that's something I want to really step in for. Juve's schedule is awful. I mean, they couldn't have the worst schedule. Like, they, you know, they have Milan this weekend, then Sassuolo, then Inter, then the Coppa Italia final, and then they finish against Bologna, who's you know, at the moment still could be relegated. Let's just say that. You know, Bologna is never easy either, and it's the last match. But by then, they might even be out of the Champions League running. You know what I mean, Gianni? And for sure. You have Inter 4 days before, or whatever. You know, the Coppa Italia final. So let's face it, that weekend will either like knock Juve out of the Champions League or get them in. It's the penultimate weekend, and nothing will be settled by then. It just won't. The way the points are, it won't be settled by then. So Juve have to throw everything at Inter to get to the Champions League, and then they have a cup final. What are they doing? They have to play the same team. They have to play the same team against Atalanta. Atalanta is going to decimate this team in the Coppa Italia final.
They really will.
The Sassuolo match next weekend. Sassuolo are 2 points out of Europe. That 7th place spot is a Europa Conference League spot. Now, whether it be the Conference League or not, I'm pretty sure Sassuolo want to go to Europe next season as well. They're 2 points behind Roma. They're going to go after Juve also. It's just not a good situation for Juve. And I not as a Napolitan, not as a Juve, I can't stand Juve, not as a Juve hater, but as a realist, as a realist, do Juve really have the best chance of going to the Champions League even with Ronaldo? They don't. For me, they don't.
Now, I want to bring in, because we have the benefit here of an impartial voice, and it's not to say that Raffa, Gianni, and Jerry aren't incredible at breaking this down, but we have the pleasure of having Vito with us. And Vito, when you look at these 3 Champions League spots that are up for grabs, what's your prediction on who takes them? Because it's basically 5 teams fighting for 3 Champions League spots, or 6 teams.
Well, I'm still confident that Napoli can be one of those teams. So obviously Inter have won the Scudetto. Atalanta have been strong this season despite some hiccups. Napoli, I think, when they do have the best team available, can play some scintillating football. And it would be a shame if Gattuso did get sacked if they don't make the Champions League. That 4th spot's a bit tricky, though. Milan, in the second half of the season, have had their share of struggles. The contract talks of Gianluigi Donnarumma and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, I think they've had some sort of impact as well. And to be honest, one of the bizarre things with Inter is they've got something like 3 options on the left wing. They've got Ante Rebic, Rafael and Hans-Peter Hauger, but they did not address the right wing situation. So I think that might come into play in some way, because Samu Castillejo is not even good enough to sustain a spot. Salamakers is a hard worker, but he's someone that doesn't have the mercurial talents to unlock a game and bring X factor. So I think they're going to struggle there. But Juventus, the problem, and it's not just a recent phenomenon, it's happened for years, they just really haven't fixed the midfield properly. They've got all these free
100%,
signings.
100%.
They're not they're either just workman-like midfielders or more the defensive type, but they lack genuine creativity. Not having Miralem Pjanic anymore has been detrimental in that regard. So I think from next season onwards, they've really got to look at far more creative midfielders and try to look at players who can play the ball a bit more. So one of those players is Manuel Locatelli from Sassuolo. I think he'd be a fantastic acquisition for Juve. Juventus have been linked with Lorenzo Pellegrini from Roma, but these really true Romanistic types, they rarely leave Rome. So I doubt that will happen. And although Nicolo Zaniolo has had 2 serious knee injuries, if Juve can get him at a discount, I think he's someone who can play in the hole. And if he can bounce back, I think he too can bring some spark to Juve midfield. But the way Juve is now, I think they're probably better off missing out in Champions League, probably cashing in on Ronaldo and Dybala, saving on those wages, and then they can, rebuild in different departments nicely. So I think, this should be a time to rebuild. As for Lazio, they got some hope. I think although they have those defensive vulnerabilities, they've shown that they still have some firepower. And when you've got Correa in the form he's had in the last couple of games, Immobile's scored 19 goals. He's consistent. And in the wing-back positions, usually with Lazzari and Fares, and sometimes if Maricic is playing left wing-back, he's played well. Milinkovic, Savic, Luis Alberto midfield. So at least offensively, Lazio do have the weapons. So it can be exciting. I'm going to be negative about Juve. They'll probably miss out this time, and I think it'd be for the best if they did, just so they can properly rebuild and properly assess on and off the pitch. Milan, I think it'd be a shame if they missed out because they've had such a good start to the season, but I think it shows they've had some gaps in there. But I think Napoli can capitalize on that, and based on recent form, even Lazio is capable of sneaking in.
Do you agree, Jerry? And then you and I had a conversation earlier today on my on-site radio show, and I let you make the case for Lazio. But make it here because you're pretty confident that Lazio are going to find a way to close this out in the top 4.
So I'm going to be honest, and I wrote off the one guy who has been probably and if Lisi's watching this, actually I like Lisi's opinions off record because he's very open-minded and he understands because he's a coach too. And we kind of talked about this a while back. I think it was last season. And the guy who is the most important to Lazio, if they're to have any success in the last 5 games, is Lucas Leiva. He's the guy who is key to this team. I know that you know what you're gonna get from SMS. You know what you're gonna get from Luis Alberto. You know what you like Vito just said. You got Ciro Immobile who's scoring. I think aside from Lucas Leiva, Vito hit it on the head. Correa is the other guy that had to step up, and that has been the case in recent time. He has the potential to score, and that's what he's doing now. But Lucas Leiva is the drive. He holds the midfield together. When you take out Lucas Leiva, I truly believe that SMS and Luis Alberto are not as effective at times as when Lucas Leiva is playing at his level. And we saw that the last 2 games. How vital was he against Milan, where he won numerous challenges? He was the 4th man in the back end, making key challenges, helping the defense, making key passes into the final third. That's where, when Lucas Leiva's on his game, he really controls. He covers a lot of space. He covers a lot of ground, and he does everything that people don't notice. I think the central defensive midfielder role is probably one of the biggest and hardest positions to play on the pitch for how much you need to cover and what your responsibilities are. And when Lucas Leiva is not playing near to his level, we kind of struggle in the midfield, in my opinion. You guys probably have seen how he's played in past seasons, where he's kind of been that trident, like that holding gel to Luis Alberto and SMS. And I think that if we continue to get, even yesterday, he was very good against Genoa. And I know that he had a poor performance against Napoli, and I wrote him off after that game. But if it wasn't for him, he was a major factor in the last 2 games. And I think that that's the guy who I'm going to be looking at in the last 5 games. And he is the key for me. And if we can play nearly to at least 75%, because he's no longer the type of player he was, and then that's come with a lot of playing time in the last couple of seasons. But if we can get him at a strong level, this is a strong chance for Lazio. And additionally, apparently Luis Felipe is expected to return to the lineup this weekend. That has been another talk, and that is a massive boost to a Lazio back line that has been depending on Miricic. Now, here's the thing. If Felipe comes back, now you got a proper starting center back at the right side. Now you can put Miricic back to left wing back, which now you bring Lulic off the bench. And then you got as well Fares, who's starting to look good. So the return of Felipe can be really massive down the last 5 games. And he's been a big miss. And when we started the season, talk about injuries, Radu, Acerbi, and Felipe was supposed to be our starting 3 in the back end. They have accumulated 5 games together all season. 5 games. And that has been a major factor to why our back end hasn't been able to compete and be as good as they were last year. These 3 combined had, I believe, 6 of their 11 clean sheets last season. And I think that's a major factor of what they have been able to do, building chemistry, stability there. I thought Wesley Hoot did a good job yesterday. He came in, he played a simple game, didn't take any risks. He filled in perfectly for Acerbi yesterday. I don't think he was the problem when we conceded 3 goals. It was Lulic getting beat on the first game, not having any pace and just getting dummy bad. The second goal was Cataldi taking a really poor foul in the box. That could have been a red card in my opinion, because he really put a stomp on I forgot who it was, but it was a bad foul. And then the third goal was just poor defending right away and down the wing. These are goals that we concede that are so easy to avoid, but these are Lazio mistakes that are never going to be fixed. But like I said, Felipe comes back to the lineup, and I really feel that is a massive boost for our back end.
Well, really well said. And guys, but before we close out this episode, I want to offer a huge thanks, not only to the Interista who watch and listen to us, but really everyone from the Calcio community, because I love the fact that even on this episode, we can unite with a Napoli supporter, a Juventino, a Laziale, a Samp supporter, and we can all have great conversations and have a good time. And yeah, there are certainly some assholes out there who are just going to banter nonstop and not respect other people, but so many from the Calcio community, no matter what team they support, are respectful to me, and I try to treat everyone the same way. So I love the fact that we can all get together, and even if we may all be looking at different things for our clubs, we can all celebrate our love for Calcio together. So it's a lot of fun, and we'll definitely.
We got a final topic. Ronaldo.
What do we got?
Do you think this is you think you're gonna get away without talking about Ronaldo's beautiful?
With you, I should have known better. He scored twice yesterday, Jerry. What
motherfucker, man? Fuck him. Fuck him, that son of a bitch. You think I wasn't gonna talk about Ronaldo and tell him to go fuck himself? Scoring that brace. That first goal was oh God. I never seen a guy get more penalties so lucky like him. Oh no, the chooch of the week is DePaul, man, taking that freaking handball. I'm sorry, man. Fucking bonehead. Ball, yeah, man. Bonehead move. Like, they played such a good game, and then in that second goal, what the fuck kind of defending was that?
That was the goalkeeper. I can't believe he didn't even get a hand. I don't know how that went, and I really don't.
I don't know either. I've never seen. It's not because Ronaldo's so good that he scored that. It was just right place, right time, shit defending, and shit goalkeeping. That's all it was. It wasn't like he outmanned him. The guy fucking literally stared at him and like, hey, you can score for free if you want, you stupid asshole. Like, oh God, I fucking hate. And then I gotta hear the Ronaldo lovers come on and it's fucking
they hate you.
Listen, you should see my comments after that goal. Oh my God.
Yeah, poor Gianni. I mean, you take it from you take it from all the 13-year-olds, all the 13-year-old Ronaldo fans. They hate you.
Oh yeah, I'm their number one enemy. I think at this point, oh my God. After the game, they're like, "Oh, Gianni's probably crying because they won." It's like, just because I don't necessarily love a player doesn't mean I'm gonna be mad my team won because he scored. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I don't get the fan base of Ronaldo's fan club and how they think like this guy's like royalty. Like, I don't know who's worse, the Ronaldo fan club or the Messi fan club. I have to say Ronaldo fan club is worse.
They're both bad, but the Ronaldo fan club is worse, I think.
Way worse.
Like, hands down.
Yeah.
Like, then there's the Mariki fan club. Oh, that's a serious. No, that's a real fan club, man. It's like they think that guy's God and like he's good. He's so shit, man. I've never seen a player as Mariki so bad with his feet. I've never seen a guy who has the height and the physicality to not hold the ball properly, to not fight off defenders properly, and to lose the ball so bad. Like, at the start of the year, I thought that Victor Osimhen was bad with his control, but he's gotten better. There's progression in his game. There's no progression in Mariki's game. Absolutely not one fucking thing. And beating Parma's B squad in a Coppa Italia, it does not fucking count for me, okay? I'm sorry. That does not count for me. Looking forward now. Like, this guy, 20 million, worst investment. And I got to hear people saying that Tade did a great job in the last 5 years. Look at every deal that Tade made. He did a better job not being given money than him when he's given money. Every deal he made with money has been bad. Beresha, Milan Beresha was not it didn't work out. I didn't mind him, but it didn't work out. It was a expensive signing. Wallace was another one. We gave him away this past summer for free. That's how bad it got. Like, Dennis Vavro, $12 million, and he's playing in freaking La Liga on loan right now. Like, I can keep going, guys. Fades was probably the best deal we've done on a $10 million deal. And you can imagine if he had $50 million in his hand, what he would do. He'd probably bring home 3 Marikis. Fuck.
On that note, I want to give everybody a chance to shout out their work and their social media, and I'll I'll give the floor to the gentleman who's joining us for the first time. Raffa, we can't thank you enough, man. Where can they find you? Where can they find your work?
Well, on Twitter, I'm at Raffanopoli83. That Twitter handle is wrong that you see on it's Raffanopoli with an A after the two F's. Is my fault. But also look for me. I'm the co-host of the Raff and Raff Rant. We've had Jerry on the show recently. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We now have an Instagram account, but also I'm the founder of the Far From Vesuvius network. We do podcasting, we do articles. Jerry's written a few articles for us there too. And we do a lot of really cool things. One of the coolest things that we did was the Maradona Era Chronicles. Myself and my buddy Frank Sidekick. We put those out. We've recorded 88, 89, the Serie A and Coppa Italia, because we did the 88, 89 Coppa UEFA win separately, and that was when Maradona passed away. That's one of the biggest podcasts we've ever done, most downloaded. Check that out. We're going to record 89, 90 soon, and on the Raff and Raff Rant, we're going to celebrate the 34th anniversary of Napoli's first Scudetto on May 17th, and we're giving away this kit right here.
Nice.
So follow us on Instagram at Raffrant, and you'll find the details there. But before I leave and let someone else talk, I want to say thank you, Alex, for letting me on. Jerry, for getting in touch with me last minute and
our pleasure.
hijacking our show, because we had our show earlier.
Oh,
Jerry
nice.
came in and was like, Raff, I messaged you. You in? And I'm like, yeah. So I confirmed
That's so Jerry.
on our show. It is Jerry. I want to say hi to Gianni. Nice to finally meet you in person. I hate Juventus, but I love what you do on your social media. I do. Alex, again, congratulations on the Scudetto. And my
Thank
man
you.
Vito, man, I've known Vito
What a guy.
from Facebook, from multiple soccer calcio platforms. We talk a lot outside of actually seeing each other face to face. And I just want to say, nice to meet you, Vito. Finally, I love that you love Sampdoria, and I also love that you love 80s calcio. And I might actually formally invite you onto our show for the Scudetto celebration, because you know so much about 80s calcio, and I just think that you'd be a perfect candidate to, especially since Sampdoria were so badass at that time too. I think it'd be cool to have you on too. So maybe I'll message you and work that out. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great, Rafa. I really got to thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate that. And it's those kind of comments and interacting with people like you and everyone else here, it just makes everything worthwhile. I think it's great to be nostalgic and also analyze the current Italian soccer stuff. So in times like this, where unfortunately Serie A is no longer the best league in the world, I think it's always great to have that niche market and for people to see what were the great things about the league we love and our teams, and also why people should still keep an eye on it, although we're not back on top as yet.
And Vito, while you're on, let people know where they can find you and find your work.
Okay, so the main website I contribute for is Forza Italian Football. So I do a lot of news and feature articles for them. I contribute on the podcast weekly with my colleagues Connor Clancy and Kevin Pogjelski. And also I do some writing for Breaking the Lines, which is led by Zach Lowy. And I also say that we'll have a special magazine coming out for the up-and-coming European Championship. So I think that should be out sometime this month. And hopefully people can have a look at that, because I've actually done a few things based on Italy, even one historical piece. So I'd love everyone to come and check that out and spread the word as well. So thanks, guys.
Love it. Yeah,
Awesome.
and Vito does a great job. And Gianni, he has become quickly the king of social media, the king of edits. Where can people find all your stuff?
Thank you. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Black Gianni, but like black spelled with a V instead of the BLVCK. Gianni. And also, I guess I'll plug this too, but I'm not sure if how many of you guys have Discord or if you've heard of Discord, but me and my buddy are trying to set up the biggest Serie A Discord. So if you guys are interested in that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I will get in for that. I've heard of
Perfect.
Discord. I'm always 5 years behind on everything, but I will join for that.
Perfect. We're trying to grow our community. It's me and my buddy, and he's a Juventus fan too, but we have a bunch of channels set up for everyone. We have Lazio, Napoli, Inter, Milan, Roma so far. So a bunch of you guys can join, and we're trying to do like watch-alongs and stuff like that with some people. So, that's the biggest thing I'm trying to promote now. I think it'd be pretty cool to get a bunch of different Serie A fans, like you said, because at the end of the day, I may be a Juventus fan, but I'm always cheering for, other Italian clubs in Europe. I'd always, Forza the league, I'd much rather you guys win than anyone else in England, for example. So that's just, join the Discord.
And by the way, is there any way you can give out the address or something? Because one of our commenters is asking if there's a way to get a link to the Discord. Is there any way to share that with our bro there?
Yeah, I have the link. It's pretty long, and there's just a bunch of numbers though, so I'm not really sure how to put that out.
Well, let me ask CC on there if you follow Gianni on Twitter, maybe he can put it out there.
Yeah, I have it up on my Twitter right now, or I can DM it to you or whatever. But yeah, it's just a long code, and you can copy it, and it'll take you straight to your Discord app. You can join.
Awesome. So hit him up on Twitter. Go ahead. And Jerry, you got to plug all your stuff, man. I love the fact that Jerry, the Interista, has become a regular contributor on Serpents of Madonnina. I get all my Inter news from Jerry. This is amazing.
Well, to piggyback on Gianni there, I was a follower of the London is Blue podcast, and they have a Discord, and it's actually it was doing very well, but I just got sick of the pod and didn't think they offered much to me, so I left. But it was actually a good idea, the actual Discord. But the Laziale, been writing a lot for them. Serpents of Madonnina, I do a lot of the winners and losers pieces. You know what? I've actually watched every single Inter game this year, and it's kind of crazy because I haven't missed an Inter or a Lazio.
Even I've missed a couple games, and Jerry, I'm telling you, Jerry is the Interista. I've missed a couple games. He's seen all of them.
I'm boycotting every Juve game basically. I for the most part, it's been
fun lately, Jerry. It's been fun lately.
Yeah, no, it is fun to see them lose, but they're so terrible to watch. I'm sorry. Even before this season, they're just so boring to watch their games. I can't be bothered to watch 11 guys set back and wait to get one goal and just play this strategic game where everybody's playing defensive. It's just what you're doing. You're playing a low block and let's fucking cover the net. But yeah, Laziale, Serpents of Madonnina, and those are the two main sites right now I'm just contributing to. I've done a few things for Get Italian Football News, but with the season narrowing down, I just decided to really focus and just keep it really simple. But I do plan on writing something for Raffa in regards to Napoli. I have a few ideas where I've pitched with him. I just haven't been able to get to them. But overall, that's it. And yes, I'm going to say it. Not congrats to Inter. Congrats to Conte. That's my guy.
Okay.
Fucking everybody calls me Inter. I love Conte. This guy's badass, okay? Fucking, he had the balls to get shit going. People doubted him in November. Fire him. People were hashtagging fire fucking Conte. Get rid of him.
Out.
Conte out.
I may or may not have been one of those people. I will not confirm or deny.
I wrote an article which I'll keep on preaching about for Get Italian Football News, where I was a firm believer that Conte was the guy, and his sole objective was to win a Scudetto, and that's what he did. That was why he came to Inter. Did he tank it with for the Champions League? I don't know. Conspiracies, I guess.
See, the thing is, I'm going to say,
did he not? Who knows?
No, honestly, I think that would be giving too much. That would be giving Inter too much credit to say that they tanked it in Champions League. I thought, if anything, Conte was trying to make the team something that they weren't. Where you notice the style of play that they tried to employ in Champions League, they really wanted to be a team that had possession and played something closer to champagne football. And then you see the identity they've had since January, which has been old school Conte, right? A lot of counterattacking. Like they were really trying to be a different sort of club in Champions League because they probably wanted to play a style that was more in line with the way Champions League clubs usually play, and it didn't work. So I honestly, like, I think Jerry. I think you're giving them too much credit to say that they tanked Champions League. I think they tried and failed.
Possible. It was also a hard group they were in too. I think a lot of people. I hate when I have to hear that Inter lost to Shakhtar, but Roma beat Shakhtar, and it's like,
yeah.
Every week,
they didn't lose to him, but the problem was they couldn't beat Shakhtar. Like if they could have scored one goal against Shakhtar, they would have gone through.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid, man. Different timing. Every week has a different scenario too, different outcome with football. It's not like North American sports where you play hockey tonight and then tomorrow night you play back to back and you're going right back at it. With football, it's like Vincenzo said it perfect on the Forza Napoli podcast, and it's a mental game, and it's a very psychological. Like your mind, you can be affected mentally in 1 week, and next week you can be very high up in your momentum. Like there's a lot of factors that affect you day to day. Like whereas in North American sports, basketball, baseball, for how much they play on a consistent basis, they have enough time to go right back at it and say, okay, tomorrow night we'll try to get the win. In football, you don't have that. You play Sunday, you gotta wait till next Sunday. That's 7 days you gotta wait until you think, okay, wow, I gotta reflect on this loss. Imagine if you had a bad performance, you gotta think about that for 6 days. And it's like, oh shit, that's in the back of your head now. How do you overcome that? So Jorge, congrats on Lyon winning yesterday, 3-2. Big win, buddy. Big win for Lyon. They're not going to win the league, but they have a good chance to get Champions League. Big win for them yesterday.
And by the way, he asked me how many drinks I've had. 0, to be honest. Like I said, like I actually and this is gonna sound so freaking like greedy, but I was actually kind of hoping that they wouldn't clinch it this past weekend because I had so much goddamn work to do. Like because next weekend I can really cut loose. So I'm gonna have to get some more drinks. But we're done here. Huge thanks to Raffa, Gianni, Vito, and of course Jerry, and to everyone who tuned in and had a good time with us. And of course, for those of you who hopped on a little bit late, I know a few people just got in. You can catch the replay as soon as we're done here live. The replay is going to be on YouTube.
You're fucking buzzkiller, eh?
What?
We're having fun. You're killing the party, ending it.
Dude, I'm so tired. You guys keep going without me.
Inter won a fucking Scudetto, and you're saying you're tired, but
I'm tired.
Bro, you can inject me with 3 fucking needles and it wouldn't take me down if Lazio won a fucking Scudetto, okay? You could put a fucking needle up my asshole, I wouldn't go, fuck, man. 2-ply would take care of that. 2-ply.
Oh my God.
You think you're tired now? Wait till tomorrow. That second shot is rough, man. It's
that's what I'm worried about. Listen, Jerry. If you want to keep it rolling, you can start one of those spaces on Twitter, and you can talk to all the Interisti. Like the Interisti love Jerry. So you can.
Is the space, man? I went to that space. I didn't know, and I was the only Lazio fan in there. I was like, "Oh fuck, man!" You got like, I was surrounded by 20 Inter fans, maybe 1 Juventus fan. I saw.
You went into an Inter Scudetto celebrating space. What did you expect?
Oh well, Lazio can't do that, man. First, I don't even think they would want to do it. 2, I don't even know more than freaking 10 Lazio fans that would actually like do it, man.
It'd be you, Steven, and Sean, and then you'd
have for real, man. Anybody honest.
I could hook you up with another two Lazio fans. I know personally, actually. So yeah, I get it.
All right, so I'm a buzzkill, no doubt.
You are. I guess you are a buzzkill, but let me really quick. I know you.
Yeah, sure.
Go.
Sure.
A long outro. I also want to thank you guys, you and Jerry, for playing in the podcast predictions league.
Even though we missed like 10 weeks, I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. No, it's all good. Because at the end it fell off the rails, I believe. I haven't even calculated the points after week 19, so I have a lot of catching up to do. But I do have something pretty cool for the winners. I make sure I let everybody know that is either on my show or I'm a guest of that is playing in it, that there's a pretty cool prize that I'm working on for the winners. So if it's you guys, that's cool, but I don't even know who's in the lead. So
that is awesome.
But thank you for playing. It's really cool. I appreciate it.
It's a really fun thing, and I love the way that you guys are getting a lot of the podcast together for that. That was really neat.
Oh, fuck. We're so stupid, man. We got Champions League this week, and we didn't even fucking ask.
Dude, If you want to start another fucking show, I'm going to bed, Jerry. If you want to start another show, you can get these people together and start a show.
Does Roma win Thursday?
No. Hey, Cavani hat trick. Cavani hat trick, baby.
I'll kiss him, man, if he does that.
All right. Thank you. If you guys want to join Jerry on Spaces, he's going to be on there until 4 a.m. talking about it. So we will talk to you guys later on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.
Wow.